Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions on Bounce TV and to our worldwide web viewers on www.sportsvisionsusa.com. Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Hey, man, it's getting closer and closer to us heading to Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm ready, player. I'm ready for my barbecue first. Then I'm ready to go to Birmingham.
That's right. The 4th of July is right around the corner.
Right.
And again, of course, this weekend we'll start because we got a 4-day weekend. The 4th will hit on Monday.
Well, it's going to take me about that long to get in shape, DJ, after this weekend.
Well, I'll tell you what, coming up in just a little bit, we got a great show for you. We're going to talk about the iconic, legendary Pat Summitt, who passed away a couple of days ago, as well as we'll have an opportunity to talk Team USA basketball as they prepare to go down for the Rio Olympics. Also, free agency is upon us, and we'll talk about that. And we have a special guest, Coach Wallace Davis.
Hey, that's big. Coach Davis coming in. It must be a big-time show, player.
Where are they now? We're going to let you know where Coach Davis is and what he's doing. All that and more coming up next on Sports Visions.
Selection now, saving now, value now. Columbus is Nissan Town, and the Nissan Now sales event is on now. Now, save $5,000 on a new Altima. That's right. Now, drive a new Altima, an IIHS top safety pick with $5,000 in savings. The best time to buy is right now.
Nissan Now sales event. Don't miss it. We'll see you soon. Headquarter Nissan.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. Dale, I tell you, it's been a tough time in sports. I know Muhammad Ali passed away, several weeks ago. And, of course, most recently on Monday, we lost two iconic figures in Buddy Ryan, the outstanding defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears from, of course, the 1980s. And, of course, Pat Summitt, the iconic female basketball coach who is arguably one of the best coaches of all time, no matter what sport.
No matter what sports. I mean, really, the female, women, coach, whatever you want to use, but she's one of the legendary women coaches of all time. I mean, really, all the numbers that I heard, DJ, I mean, they were just astonished. I mean, 8 national championships, 18 SEC championships, but the one that really jumps out at me was the 100% graduation ratio for all her girls. That's huge, player.
That is huge in itself. And again, when you talk about a woman who actually has the best record of all college basketball coaches, men or women, and you talk about just the outcry and the outpour of affection of some of the greatest coaches in the game over the past week. When you talk about Gino Auriemma with UConn, and you talk about Andy Landers, I mean, these guys, Bruce Pearl, who coached with her at Tennessee for a while when he was coaching the boys team there, all of these coaches and all of these great players from Shamika Hosklaw to Tamika Catchings, and these are some of the great players in the Tennessee era. They have nothing but fond memories and great things to say about a woman who just wasn't only a good person or good coach on paper, a woman who changed the game for female athletes all over.
All over, DJ, and really with that Title IX piece coming into play, and then with the dominance of her Tennessee women basketball team, I think really it just built up steam. I mean, and really for us, the way that women basketball and women collegiate sports are done today, really, they go to Pat Summitt, DJ. And I really, I used to always wonder, like, well, I wonder what kind of coach she would be if she would coach the guys, if they even would let her coach the guys. But because she had a scowl on her, DJ. She got after her girls. She coached hard, but her girls played hard.
What was impressive to me is the fact that at 22 years old, again, she was a great player in college as well, and she played on the Olympic team. But at 22 years old, she was handed the keys to the head job at Tennessee, and at that time, women's sports, women's basketball in particularly, wasn't really thought of. And you talk about all the sold-out Final Four appearances in the NCAA tournaments. You talk about all the TV contracts. You talk about all the accommodations as far as flying first class and living and staying in the hotels just like the guys. You can credit her with all that. Even before Title IX, she was in the trenches making $250 a month in her first few years at the University of Tennessee as the head coach. But then, of course, now as we talk about her, we celebrate her, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I mean, all time, DJ. I mean, whether you man or woman, you talking about a female coach, a coach that could get after you. I mean, systems and legacy of players after players, coaches. She got coaches that she coached. She got players all over the WNBA, DJ. And one of the biggest things that I think about it. Really, her career wins, 1,098. That's a lot of wins, DJ.
That is a lot of wins when you know right now we're talking Gino Auriemma and the great things that he's doing. But again, she has still not surpassed Pat Summitt. And I tell
right.
you, I want to share a personal story that I have with Pat Summitt as it pertains to the history right here in Columbus, Georgia.
That's right.
Back in 1998, February of 98, the SEC Championship tournament was played here as well as the championship game. And, of course, Pat Summitt and her Tennessee Volunteers rolled in here and played at the Civic Center. But I had the unique pleasure of being courtside with Loretta Cobb. I was doing the play-by-play. Loretta was doing the color commentating, and we were doing it on AM 540 WDAK. And again, I can remember the championship game like it was yesterday. The greatest team in college basketball, arguably, at that time, going up against Mississippi State in the championship game in the Columbus Civic Center, not going ahead and winning that game, winning the SEC tournament, going 31-0, but later going on to capture the national championship and finish at 39-0, the greatest college basketball season, according to most folks, in the history of women's college basketball. And Pat Summitt was here in Columbus, Georgia, and a lot of people don't remember that, but I remember being courtside and having the opportunity to call that game on the radio.
That was, I remember that was big for the city of Columbus. I mean, to have had the SEC women's basketball tournament here in Columbus, Georgia, newly fresh Civic Center. Really, it's a lot of things that have happened here in Columbus as far as the Olympics are concerned, but just as far as the SEC Women's Championship, at the time, Tennessee was the hottest thing that was out there in basketball and in women's sports. So really, it's a lot of things that have gone on in this town, but really, hats off to Pat Summitt, her staff, her family, and really, DJ, that thing still goes back to that Alzheimer's piece again, man. We got to find a cure for that.
Absolutely, and again, I know we mentioned Buddy Ryan passing as well on Monday. Of course, we know him from running and, of course, being the founder and the creator of that great 46 defense.
Right.
And again, those defenses, that defense is still used today. It's just called other things. These other coaches have added little adjustments here and there. But Buddy Ryan, one of the great defensive minds in all of football.
Oh, no doubt about it. The Buddy Ryan's piece really, and that whole system is playing now. They might not play the 46 now, but really on defense now, they're not playing positions like they used to. They're just putting these guys in different places, but get them out of their position, because really on defense now, you just can't sit still. You got to move around and confuse the offense.
Absolutely. And again, Buddy Ryan, his legacy will continue with his two twin sons who are on staff, Rex Ryan and what's the other kid's, the other coach's name? Rex and the other Ryan? Rob.
Rex and Rob.
Both of those guys are actually coaching with the Bills and continuing their dad's legacy. But again, Buddy Ryan will be missed, and he was one heck of a coach.
Rest in peace, Buddy Ryan.
Hi, I'm Philip Dabbitt with ENS Men's Clothing Warehouse. We'd like to say thank you, Columbus and the Bi-City area, for 20 great years on Macon Road in the heart of Columbus. We're inviting you out to our 20th anniversary sale with bigger savings and deals than ever before.
To help show our appreciation, ENS is offering complete suit and tux packages only $99. Jackets, pants, shirts, and ties, a $199 value for just $99. Find us on Facebook for details on how to win a suit or tux package. Come celebrate our 20th anniversary. ENS, where you get more for a whole lot less.
Truth be truth, the will to win will win. So intimidate your darkest fear. Revive every forgotten fantasy. Set goals you can never reach, then reach them. Count cards to fight fate stack deck. And if you want to win as much as you want to live, you're ready to reign on.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price, with 3 locations to serve you.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, and it's now time for our Where Are They Now segment. And, of course, we started this segment about 3-4 weeks ago. And, of course, going back into the Chattahoochee Valley, bringing back some of the great names and some of the great people who have made an impact here. And, of course, we're proud to have with us today my coach, my mentor, and he was the best man in my wedding years ago, Coach Wallace Davis. How you doing, man?
It's always good to be here with you and on your show, Sports Vision. It's just a pleasure.
Hey, man, just proud to have you. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity just to sit down on camera, although we get together occasionally and have lunch. But just glad to have you here to talk about you and some of the great things, obviously, that you have done. A lot of folks out there want to know, what you got going on now, but we'll walk them through that. But first and foremost, Coach, let's just start in the beginning. You were a star football player at Spencer High School, at Lincoln University in the early 60s, and you even had an opportunity to play professional football. Go ahead and expound on your early beginnings.
Well, my early beginning of sports started at Carver Junior High School. That was the first year they started football at a junior high school. The coach that I had was B.T. Foltz, and he was a great leader, a great teacher, and a great person that you can gain inspiration from. He started football at Carver. I happened to be in that group when he first started football at Carver Junior High School. And from that point on, my third year, which was my ninth grade year, I was made the captain of the football team. And as strange as it seemed, the position he put me in was a position I really thought that I should have been in another position. He made a tackle out of me when I thought I should have been a running back. But nevertheless, if I was good enough to be a captain and playing tackle, that was enough to let me know that this man probably had more vision than I had. I went on to high school after my ninth grade year and started football at Spencer, where I started as a sophomore, my first year on the team.
What year was that, Coach?
That was 1959, school year 1959-60. I was a starter at a defensive lineman spot. And then from that point on, I started at offensive guard my junior year, and my senior year, I made all GIA state. At that time, it was a black GIA, and the GHSA was white. So by the schools not being integrated at that time, I ended up being an all-state player for the Georgia Intercollegiate Athletic Association. And that they had an all-star game at the time in Atlanta, and it was just something to let you know during that period of time that sports for blacks was just as strong as the sports for whites.
We're talking about in the 60s now, Coach. And after high school and all the great things that you did in high school, you went on to become a star and recently named Hall of Famer at Lincoln University.
Well, that caught me by surprise. I went to Lincoln thinking that I was going to be that running back, one of the fastest players on the team. But the coach told me, he said, young man, I know you want to play running back. He said, but I can't find a player that could play that position any better than you, so you just going to have to stay there. And fortunate enough, I was able to make all Midwest Conference, a conference with Tennessee State, Kentucky State, Central State, and Lincoln University. We all were in what you call the Midwest Athletic Conference. During that period of time, our defense led the nation in rushing defense. We were by Pittsburgh Courier at the time. You still had this situation where schools weren't integrated, although we played a real strong integrated conference. We played Tennessee State, we played Florida A&M, we played Southern Illinois University, we played Arkansas A&M, and we played Central State, Kentucky State, Langston, and that conference for 4 years was one of the best conferences in the United States. And I don't want to leave Grambling out because Grambling was in that group also.
Well, Coach, you talked about being a very, very fast guy. But after your career, your illustrious career at Lincoln, you had an opportunity to sign a pro contract and go to training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. And, of course, being the athlete you were, was timed at one of the fastest on the team in the 60-yard dash.
Well, what the Vikings had, they had a system where when you come in, they would run 50-yard dash in full pads. And to my surprise, I ended up being that player that had the fastest time in the 50-yard dash at that time at Minnesota. This was 1966, and the time was 5'9" in full pads. And that was enough to get me a solid sign with the Vikings. Would have made it, got put in a position to run kickoffs and punts back, was one of the best. But as they say, when you're a pro, you can't make mistakes. So as a result, I made one. We were playing the Detroit Lions in New Orleans, and lo and behold, the ball was kicked in the lights, and I dropped the punt, And then from that point on, as you know, it was history. Then I had an opportunity to go to the Atlanta Falcons in 1966 at the end. The beginning of 67, I had one of the fastest time at the Atlanta Falcons training camp, which was a 4.6 at that time on grass.
Wonderful, Coach. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the second part of your life, transitioning into, of course, the educational field and coaching, because you did a tremendous job in that as well. We'll be right back after this. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, come see us at Express Motors, 1210 14th Street, Phoenix City, Alabama. Or give us a call, 334-384-9101, with hundreds of vehicles to choose from. In-house financing, the right vehicle at the right price for you. We don't want all your business, just yours. Come see us, 1210 14th Street, Phoenix City, Alabama, or go online, www.expressmotorspc.com.
July the 11th through the 13th, 7 to 12-year-olds. July 14th through the 16th, 13 through 18-year-olds. Please contact Lester Hood at 706-580-9240 or DJ Jones at 706-681-1136. War Eagle.
Welcome back to Sports Visions. We're continuing with Coach Davis, our Where Are They Now feature of the week. And, Coach, we got everybody through, of course, your early years in high school and college and into the pros. And, again, the transition that's so hard to make when you get invited to professional camp. You had a break, and a special person came into your life and really is responsible for you having the great career you had as a coach and as an educator.
Well, and I think this is well deserving to be talked about. I remember when I was training to get ready for the Atlanta Falcons, and this was back in 1967, Mr. Charleston noticed me running, who was the principal at that time at Carver High School. He noticed me training in the back of the school. So he came out of his office, walked around to the back where I was working out, and said, "Young man, if you don't make it with the Atlanta Falcons, you got a job. I want to offer you a job." I said, "Mr. Charleston, I'm going to be frank with you. I don't want to teach. I don't want to play pro football." Well, training camp started, went to mini camp, did extremely well. Then when training camp started, we were in Black Mountain, Tennessee, and they had about 100 players trying to make it. And at that time, they had a quota to get to. It wasn't like, you know, if you're good, they're going to put you because you're good. You could be good, but they just had a quota. They were going to pick players that had been in other teams and been in the league. They were going to pick them, and I was a rookie coming in. And lo and behold, just about the middle of August, I got released from the Atlanta Falcons. When I got released, it was on Telewire. One day it said, Wallace Davis, outstanding player, stand a good chance of making the team. Next day, it came out, Wallace Davis had just been released. And Mr. Charleston heard this on the news. And when he heard it on the news, at that moment, he went to my brother's house where I was staying, but I hadn't come from the Falcon because I was just flying out and trying to get back home. He told my brother that, "Look, when your brother come home, that I have a job and I want to offer him a job." Well, when I got in about 12 o'clock at night. In leaving the Falcons, there was the defensive secondary coach told me that I was good enough to play in the league, but the situation wasn't geared for me at the Falcons, and he called Tom Fears at the New Orleans Saints and told him that I need to get a shot. His name was Johnny Simax. Well, I came back home that night thinking that I perhaps would leave early in the morning to fly into New Orleans, but before I could get up that morning, Mr. Charleston was at my door. He knocked on my door and said that, "Look, you remember when you were working out in the back of the school? I told you I'd give you a job. Well, I'm here to give you that job." 7 o'clock in the morning, I said, "Mr. Charleston, I'm going to New Orleans at 12. I got a flight out of here." He said, "You're going with me." So he said, "Get in my car." I got in his car, and then we went to the school board. We went into Mr. Shaw, who was the superintendent at the time, office. And he said, "Mr. Shaw, this is the young man I want to hire." And in 1967 was the beginning of my coaching career at Carver High School. And thanks goodness to Mr. Charleston, who made me, I couldn't get out of it, take the job as a teacher and an assistant coach at Carver High School.
Coach, for the sake of time, obviously, you know, I could talk to you all day, but we want to make sure that I get in this interview, you know, the thousands of lives that you've touched as a coach and the over nearly 40 years of service. You know, I just want to commend you on being the mentor, the teacher, the big brother, the father figure to so many athletes that, of course, not just athletes that played for you at Hardaway or Carver, but wherever you were, if a kid played at another school and didn't feel that their coach helped them out, you didn't send them away. You did what you could to help them.
Well, at that time, you know, it didn't matter with me because I know how it was with me starting. And there were several kids, even when I was in college, I used to come back and take players to Lincoln University, and the coach, on my recommendation, would sign them. And I felt that with the time that I had growing up, trying to get a start, trying to get an education, it would have been a catastrophe if I didn't help young people that came under me to do the same thing.
Well, Coach, I tell you again, I commend you because you not only have you coached pro football players, you have coaches that are coaching in the NFL, coaching on the Division I level, coaching high school. You have successful men and women, fathers and mothers that you have gone under your tutelage. And again, I just want to commend you for the great job that you've done in all the great years.
I appreciate you, D. And you're one of those players that stood out as a ninth grader, my first year as the head coach at Carver High School. You're one that stood out against all odds. We had probably the worst athletic program in this city. You could have gone to any high school and been an All-American. But because of the fact that you were dedicated to your area and your friend, you came to Carver High School, and when a news writer asked you a question once, and I'll never forget it, he said, how can you play on this losing team and with these losers? You said to that news writer that losing is an individual thing, and I'm a winner.
Coach, we certainly appreciate you, and I know that, you know, man, like I said, we could talk on and on, but ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Coach Wallace Davis.
Thank you very much.
A smile is the most admirable thing you can wear. And for anyone age 1 to 101, Cook Dental Care has a smile for you. Dr. Kathy L. Cook offers a wide range of individualized, innovative services from basic preventative dentistry to specialized care. We provide comprehensive dental care for the entire family, including pediatric. Insurance, financing, walk-ins, and new patients are always welcome. So for your family's dental care, visit Cook Dental Care.
This is Susan Cooper of the Greater Columbus Urban League. Please join the Urban League movement by becoming a member. Membership is only $50. Our goal is 3,000 people to become members by August 1st and give back to the community through the Urban League. Invest in our youth and donate to help complete summer programming for summer jobs. The Urban League, equal access to equal opportunities, jobs, education, housing, and health, empowering communities and changing lives. To give now, stop by the Urban League, 802 First Avenue, or call 706-322-6840, or go to our Facebook page, Urban League of Greater Columbus.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Visions. I tell you, boy, it's always a pleasure to have Coach Davis around. This guy has done just so much for this community, man. I'm just proud to know that I had the opportunity to play for him and to have him as a mentor.
I mean, he's a great guy, always been in the community and really still looking out for players.
Well, you know what? We're just fresh off of an NBA championship, and Team USA basketball is going to be playing down in Rio at the Olympics this summer. And, of course, earlier in the week, the Olympic team was named, and again, some of the great names in basketball to the likes of, when you talk about Draymond Green and the likes of some of the other guys that you named.
DeMarcus Cousins, I mean, really that piece right there, I'm glad to see him get honored along with Tyree Irving. I mean,
exactly.
Really, he's deserving. Carmelo Anthony, this is his third time that he goes back, but really the Draymond Green piece is big. But for all the guys that have been really selective in his Durant, the Kevin Durant piece, and we don't know what he's going to do for us free agency, but for us having a good time with the Olympics, we got a good team, DJ.
We do have a good team, but again, the big names, the superstar names, you know, when you talk about LeBron James, you talk about Steph Curry, Dwayne Wade, those guys have opted out and decided that they were going to rest and not play. But I still think, though, that this team, you know, has a great, versatile group that can go down and represent the United States.
I mean, really, I always got a great group, DJ, to go down there and represent the U.S. and it's expected they must win the gold or it's a bust. But one thing that I learned just from the draft last week, DJ, that international player piece, man, they're getting some ball players from around the world. I mean, from Brazil to Greece to Croatia. I mean, they got players coming in from everywhere, and these guys are ready for the NBA, not opposed to that freshman that want to be one and done in college. And that's something that we got to talk about, too.
Absolutely. We have opportunity to talk about that. But, again, more importantly, the NBA free agency deadline was Friday. And, again, some guys have opted out. Of course, just a couple of 24 total players that opted out. But to include LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Kevin Durant, again, these guys, are having an opportunity not so much as to move. And I know that if Durant has to move, he will move. But, having the opportunity to get more money, and that's the name of the game here this summer and next summer, is that more money is coming on the table, and rather than settling into these contracts, being a free agent right now and next year is the time to be, because there's a lot of money floating around.
It's a lot of money floating around, DJ. It's just unbelievable how much money is floating around. But at the same time, people trying to figure out, is this city's going to be good enough? Am I going to be marketable in that city? It's a whole nother ball game, because, again, this is the last call for contracts for most of these free agent guys. But really, they already got a lot of money, DJ, and we can go on and on about the money piece, but contract-wise, I think really that free agency piece, the owners are being very careful about that now.
Even though there's a number of free agents out there available, but the name that we've been talking about for the last few weeks, Kevin Durant. Do you sit and stay at OKC, or do you go to a team that's throwing everything at you but the Brinks truck?
Well, I'm old school, DJ. If I'm Durant, I want to stay with my boys. I want to stay with OKC. I want to win a championship with OKC. I want to see the city of Oklahoma City grow, and I want to say that I stayed at one team the whole 9 yards, because he's got to win some championships, DJ. But I know it's a money situation, but at the same time, it just seems like, get 3 all-stars on the team or go with your buddies to play. I like the team concept, and I think he should stay at OKC.
Well, one thing that I know is for sure is that Kevin Durant has shown signs of loyalty, and I know when he was younger and all of these shoe contracts were being thrown at him, I know Adidas offered him a boatload of money as well as Under Armour. And again, I think Adidas offered him $20 million more than what Nike offered him. But because he was so loyal to Nike, he stayed with Nike. So if that's any indication of his loyalty, I'm looking for him to stay at OKC as well.
I think it's good. Again, we always talk about brands, DJ. I think his brand has been laid and made in Oklahoma City. I think he needs to stay there. Yes, he can go anywhere. He can go to New York. He can go to LA Clippers. He can go just about anywhere he wants to go. But at the same time, I want to finish where I started and bring a championship to Oklahoma City.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for all the time we have for today's show. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.
Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you.